The arrival, the sky above, was no longer the familiar blue of Earth, but a swirling canvas of violet and deep indigo streaked with unfamiliar constellations and two glowing moons. Ryan stared up in disbelief, his heart pounding with a mixture of awe and disbelief. Just 24 hours ago, he had been stuck in his cramped apartment on Earth, suffocating under the weight of pollution, crowded streets, and endless noise. Now, here he was, standing in the middle of an alien world, holding the keys to a house that should have been nothing more than a strange impulse buy. The real estate deal had seemed simple enough. Move off Earth, start fresh on a planet called Novara, and finally escape the chaos that had made his life unbearable. A new home, a new beginning, the agent had promised over the holocall, her bright smile belying the unusual nature of the transaction. But Ryan hadn't expected this. The house stood tall and shimmering, crafted from a sleek metallic alloy that gleamed under Novara's twin suns. It looked like something out of a dream or a sci-fi movie. The front door slid open silently at his approach, inviting him into the unknown. He stepped inside, taking in the spacious interior. Walls glowed softly, adjusting their colors to his mood, and strange devices hummed quietly in the corners. Everything felt too perfect, too alien, yet surprisingly inviting. Ryan's mind raced with questions. How had he managed to buy this place so quickly? Why was the price so low? And most unsettling of all, who actually lived here before? Before he could settle in, the air shimmered near the center of the living room, warping like a heat haze. Suddenly, two figures materialized, almost as if summoned by the house itself. They were stunning. Both women stood tall and graceful, their skin a luminous shade of pearly blue, with eyes that glowed softly like stars. Their hair shimmered like liquid silver, flowing down past their shoulders in gentle waves. But it was their presence, commanding yet serene, that stopped Ryan cold. "Welcome home," one of them said, her voice melodic and calming. Ryan's mouth went dry. Who are you?" The other smiled gently. "We are your neighbors, though in a sense much more than that." His mind spun. Neighbors on an alien planet. But more than anything, he felt a strange pull, as if fate had dragged him here for a reason he didn't yet understand. The two women introduced themselves as Leora and Selin, guardians of Novara and part of an ancient alien race called the Nivari. They explained that their species had long been watching Earth's decline, waiting for the right moment to offer refuge to select humans willing to leave their dying world behind. "You are not just buying a house," Leora said softly. "You are becoming part of something greater." Ryan wanted to ask so many questions, but the moment was overwhelming. He glanced around the room, suddenly aware of symbols etched into the walls, glowing runes that pulsed faintly. "What is this place really?" Selin's eyes darkened slightly. "A sanctuary, but also a gateway." Ryan's heartbeat quickened. A gateway to what? To new worlds, new possibilities, but also new dangers. That night, sleep eluded Ryan. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw flashes of strange visions, alien landscapes, vast cosmic storms, and shadowy figures moving silently through the stars. His mind was a whirlpool of excitement, fear, and confusion. The next morning, Leora and Selin invited him to explore Novara, promising answers and guidance. As they stepped outside, the alien world revealed itself in breathtaking detail. Towering crystal forests shimmered under the twin suns, rivers of liquid light flowed through emerald valleys, and creatures with glowing wings darted through the air. Yet beneath the beauty, Ryan sensed an undercurrent of tension, as if the planet itself was holding its breath. As they walked, Leora explained, "Novara is a haven, but not without threats. We have enemies who would destroy everything we protect." Ryan felt a chill. "Enemies? Why?" Selin's gaze hardened. Because they fear what we represent, unity between worlds, a future where humans and Nivari coexist. Rian struggled to process it all. From a simple house purchase to a cosmic alliance, his life had flipped upside down in less than 2 days. Days passed, and Ryan began to adjust. He learned basic communication with the Nivari, their culture, and the strange technology around him. Yet every night, the visions returned, growing more vivid and urgent. One evening, as he meditated beneath Novara's twin moons, the air shimmered again. A voice, deep, resonant, and unfamiliar, whispered in his mind, "The balance is breaking. Prepare." Heart pounding, Ryan knew his new life had just begun. Whatever fate awaited him, he would have to face it, with the 2 alien women by his side. Cliffhanger. As Ryan looked up at the glowing moons, his communicator beeped urgently. A warning flashed across the screen. Unknown vessel approaching. Prepare for contact. The secrets unfold. The warning blinked relentlessly on Ryan's communicator, the harsh red letters cutting through the peaceful glow of Novara's twin moons. He stared at the message, heart hammering. Unknown vessel approaching. Prepare for contact. Leora and Selin exchanged a glance, their usual calm replaced by tension. "This isn't a routine visitor," Selin said quietly. "Something's wrong." Ryan swallowed hard. He barely understood this new world, and already danger was knocking at his door. Literally. The 3 of them hurried toward the shimmering gateway that led outside the sanctuary. The air was thick with anticipation, charged with an energy that set Rian's nerves on edge. Through the crystalline forests, strange shadows moved, unseen but felt. The alien world, beautiful as it was, held secrets darker than the night sky. As they reached the edge of the clearing, a sleek ship descended from the stars, its hull black as obsidian, swallowing the light around it. No markings, no identification. Leora stepped forward, raising her hand. "This vessel is not welcome," she declared. Her voice carried authority and warning. From the ship, a figure emerged, cloaked with eyes that burned like coals. Ryan felt a cold shiver run down his spine. The stranger's voice was smooth, but laced with menace. "I am Corran. I represent those who oppose your presence here." Selin's eyes narrowed. "Why have you come to Novara?" Corran smiled cruelly. "To remind you that not all are eager to see humanity's alliance with the Nivari. We seek control, and we will not be denied." Ryan stepped forward, feeling a surge of protectiveness. "What do you want from me?" Corran's gaze locked onto him. "You are the key human, whether you realize it or not." The confrontation was brief but heavy with unspoken threats. The dark vessel retreated, vanishing into the starry void, leaving a warning hanging in the air. Prepare for war. Back at the sanctuary, Leora and Selin explained the fragile balance that kept Novara safe. Their people had been guardians for millennia, but with humans arriving, old enemies stirred. "You are not just a tenant here," Leora said, her voice soft but firm. "You are part of the future we are fighting for." Rian felt the weight of her words settling on his shoulders. This was bigger than he'd imagined. Over the next days, he trained under Leora's guidance, learning to harness strange Nivari technology and attune his senses to the planet's rhythms. He struggled. Alien concepts tested his mind and body, but determination pushed him forward. Selin taught him about the Nivari's history, a race dedicated to peace but forced into guardianship of Novara after an ancient war fractured the galaxy. Rian found himself drawn not only to their wisdom, but to the 2 women themselves. Their kindness, strength, and mysteries wove into his waking thoughts. One evening, Selin spoke quietly. "There is something you must understand. This world, your new home, holds secrets beyond your comprehension." Ryan looked at her, eyes searching. "What secrets?" She hesitated. Your arrival was not chance. The house you bought sits atop. A nexus, a gateway between dimensions. That's why you were chosen. His mind reeled. Chosen by whom? For what? Seelin's gaze was steady. For a destiny that will change everything. That night, the visions returned, sharper and more vivid than before. He saw flashes of battles, alien worlds burning, and himself standing amid the chaos. He awoke, gasping, sweat slick on his skin. Leora found him moments later, concern in her eyes. You carry the weight of many worlds, she said gently. But you are not alone. Ryan's resolve hardened. Whatever lay ahead, he would face it, not just as a man who bought a house, but as a guardian of a new alliance. Just as the days seemed to settle into a rhythm, a new shock awaited. Ryan discovered a hidden chamber beneath his home, revealed by an ancient mechanism that responded only to his touch. Inside lay relics, glowing crystals, alien artifacts, and a holographic message. The message flickered to life, showing a figure in regal robes. To the one who finds this. The figure spoke in a voice both powerful and weary. You hold the key to peace or destruction. Choose wisely. Ryan's fingers trembled as he reached toward the glowing orb at the center. The weight of destiny pressed down on him harder than ever. Cliffhanger. As he lifted the orb, the sanctuary's alarms blared. Outside, the sky darkened, unnaturally, and a fleet of shadowy ships appeared on the horizon. Shadows over Novara, the alarms howled through the sanctuary like a chorus of desperate warnings. Ryan barely had time to catch his breath before Leora grabbed his arm, her grip firm but urgent. We must prepare, she said, her eyes fierce. The fleet you see is the Harak Dominion, our oldest enemies. They want to claim Novara's power for themselves. Ryan's mind raced, heart pounding. The peaceful alien world he had just begun to understand was now under immediate threat. The weight of the relic orb in his hand suddenly felt heavier than ever. Outside, the sky turned a sickly shade of red as the shadowy fleet eclipsed the twin suns. Ships of all sizes, dark and angular, moved with ruthless precision. The ground trembled beneath their approach. Leora and Selin led Rian through hidden tunnels beneath the house. Ancient corridors carved into the rock, lit by pulsating bioluminescent veins. The deeper they went, the more he understood. This was more than a sanctuary. It was a fortress. In a vast chamber lined with crystalline weapons and strange machines, Selin began the preparations. We have allies here, she said, activating a communication console. We will call for reinforcements. Ryan watched as her fingers danced over alien symbols, sending signals across the stars. Minutes felt like hours. The tension was suffocating. Rian stood beside Leora, who was preparing an energy shield around the sanctuary's perimeter. This relic, he asked, what does it do? Why is it so important? Leora's gaze softened. The orb is a source of immense power, a beacon for peace, but also a weapon if wielded wrongly. It can unite worlds or destroy them, Ryan shivered. So it's no wonder the Harak want it. No, Selin replied, joining them. They fear what it represents, unity between species, the hope for an end to endless wars. Suddenly, the sanctuary trembled as the first wave of Harak ships fired upon the outer defenses. Pulses of dark energy slammed against the shields, shaking the crystalline walls. Ryan felt adrenaline surge through him. What can I do to help? Leora handed him a sleek weapon, a combination of alien tech and human design. Focus, trust, your instincts. We fight not just for Novara, but for a future where humans and Nevari can live together. The battle began. Inside the sanctuary, Ryan's training kicked in. He moved with surprising grace, firing bursts of energy that lit the dim corridors. But the Harak were relentless, their forces overwhelming. A sudden explosion rocked the chamber, sending shards of crystal flying. Ryan hit the ground, pain flaring in his shoulder. Leora helped him up. "You're doing well," she said. "But this is just the beginning." Meanwhile, Selin accessed the relic orb, her hands glowing as she channeled its power. The room filled with a radiant light, and for a moment Ryan felt a warmth he hadn't known since Earth. But the enemy pressed on, breaching outer defenses. With terrifying speed, in the chaos, Ryan spotted a group of Harak soldiers infiltrating deeper into the sanctuary. Panic surged through him. "They're trying to reach the orb!" Without hesitation, he dashed after them, heart pounding, weapon raised. The corridors twisted and turned, but Ryan's instincts guided him. He rounded a corner, just in time to confront the intruders, their cold eyes filled with hatred. A fierce firefight erupted. Ryan fought with everything he had, adrenaline and fear fueling him. Just as the enemy closed in, Leora appeared beside him, her presence steadying. Together they pushed back the intruders, forcing them to retreat. Breathing heavily, Ryan looked at Leora. "Why me? Why was I brought here?" She smiled, tired but determined. "Because you carry the hope of two worlds, and hope is the strongest weapon we have." As the battle raged outside, Selin's voice echoed through the sanctuary. "The orb's power is unstable. We must make a choice. Use it to repel the invaders, or risk destroying the sanctuary." Ryan felt the weight of the decision crushing down on him. "Do we have another option?" he asked. "No," Selin replied, "but we trust you to decide." With trembling hands, Ryan reached out, placing his palm over the glowing orb. Energy surged through him. Visions of distant galaxies, alien civilizations, and the fragile threads that connected them all. He felt a deep connection to Novara and its people, to Leora and Selin, and to something greater than himself. Closing his eyes, he summoned all his courage and focused on the hope Leora had spoken of. A brilliant wave of light exploded from the orb, washing over the sanctuary and beyond. The dark energy of the Harak fleet shattered, their ships thrown into disarray. Silence fell. Ryan opened his eyes to see the sanctuary intact, the invading fleet retreating into the void. Leora and Selin approached, their faces illuminated by the orb's fading glow. "You did it," Leora said softly. Ryan shook his head, breathless. "We did it." But as relief settled in, a new question gnawed at Ryan's mind. What price had they paid for this victory? And what was still waiting for him beyond Novara's shimmering horizons? The story was far from over. Cliffhanger, as the sanctuary's lights dimmed, a shadow moved silently through the corridors, a figure watching, waiting, and planning its next move. The hidden threat. The sanctuary was eerily quiet after the battle, the hum of its energy systems the only sound breaking the stillness. Ryan sat on a stone bench, muscles aching, mind racing. The orb's power had saved them, but he knew this peace was fragile, a brief pause before the storm. Leora and Selin moved through the halls, their faces grave. The sanctuary had suffered damage, but the spirit inside it was intact. "We must find out who that shadow was," Selin said softly, "the one who watched us from the darkness." Ryan nodded, the unease settling deep in his gut. The victory had come with a cost. An unseen enemy now lurked among them. That night, Ryan's dreams were restless. He saw flashes of memories that were not his own, a masked figure whispering secrets in a forgotten language, a chamber deep beneath Novara, and a message that echoed, "The true war is yet to come." He woke with a start, sweat cold on his brow. Leora found him in the common room. "You're haunted by the visions," she said. "They're trying to reach you." "Who?" Ryan asked, voice tight. An ancient enemy, she replied. The Harak are but pawns in a greater game. There is a faction called the Veil, shadow warriors who manipulate from behind the scenes. Ryan's heart sank. And they're here? More than here, Seelin said, joining them. They have agents within the sanctuary. Determined to root out the threat, Ryan joined Leora and Seelin in a series of covert investigations. They questioned allies, scanned the halls with advanced sensors, and searched for any sign of betrayal. Days passed in tense silence. One evening, as Ryan explored the lower tunnels, a faint whisper caught his attention. A voice calling his name in a language half familiar. He followed it to a hidden alcove where a small device pulsed with dim light. Touching it, he was flooded with images, a map of Novara marked with secret paths, a symbol of a serpent entwined around a star, and a warning: beware the serpent's bite. Back at the sanctuary, Ryan shared his discovery. Leora frowned. The serpent is the Veil's emblem. They've been here watching, waiting for the right moment. Selin's expression was grim. We cannot trust anyone completely. The Veil's spies are masters of deception. Rian's resolve hardened. Then we must expose them before it's too late. The next days were a whirlwind of tension. Every shadow seemed suspect, every whispered conversation a potential threat. Ryan found himself questioning even his closest allies. One night, while patrolling the outer perimeter, he spotted a figure slipping through the shadows. Cloaked, silent. He gave chase, heart pounding. The figure darted through twisting paths, leading him deeper into the ancient forests surrounding Novara. At last they stopped in a clearing bathed in moonlight. The figure lowered their hood, revealing a woman with piercing eyes and an unsettling calm. "I've been expecting you," she said softly. Her name was Kayla, a former Veil operative who had defected. She warned Ryan of a coming betrayal, that the Veil planned to seize the orb's power and plunge Novara into chaos. "They have infiltrated every level of the sanctuary," she said. "You cannot trust anyone but me." Ryan struggled with doubt. Could he believe her? Was this another trick? Kayla's gaze was steady. "The fate of your new home depends on your choice." With Kayla's help, Ryan and his allies uncovered a web of deceit. Trusted council members had been compromised, passing secrets to the Veil. The sanctuary erupted into turmoil as arrests and confrontations rocked its foundations. Ryan found himself thrust into a leadership role, making decisions that weighed heavily on his conscience. Amid the chaos, Leora confided in Ryan. "You're stronger than you know. This is your battle as much as ours." Her words gave him strength. Seelin, too, showed unwavering support, her wisdom guiding their actions. Together, they prepared for the inevitable clash with the Veil. Cliffhanger. As the sanctuary braced for war within its walls, a distant rumble shook Novara. From the depths of the planet, an ancient force was awakening, a power older and more dangerous than any enemy they had faced. The awakening. The ground trembled beneath Novara, a low, guttural roar rising from its core. The sanctuary's defenders paused, sensing that this was no ordinary threat. Ryan stood atop a ridge overlooking the valley, the relic orb strapped securely to his chest. Leora stood beside him, her eyes scanning the horizon as Seelin adjusted. "The defenses, this energy, it's ancient," Seelin said, voice heavy with concern. "Older than the Veil, older than the Harak. Something buried deep beneath Novara is stirring." Ryan's heart pounded. The orb pulsed faintly, as if responding to the planet's call. The betrayal within the sanctuary had been rooted out, but it had left scars. Many trusted friends were gone, some lost to the Veil's deception, others fallen in the skirmishes that followed. Yet the greatest challenge lay beneath their feet. The ancient power waking in Novara was unlike anything Ryan had imagined. As night fell, the sanctuary's council convened in the great hall, carved from glowing crystal. Leora addressed the assembly. We face enemies without, and forces beyond our understanding beneath us. We must prepare on all fronts. Kayla, the veiled defector, stood beside Ryan. I have studied the signs. The power beneath Novara is the heart of the planet, a dormant consciousness that can be awakened. Ryan's voice echoed through the chamber. If it awakens fully, what will it mean for us? Kyla's eyes darkened. It will reshape everything. The balance of power, the future of Novara, and perhaps the entire galaxy. Suddenly, a tremor shook the sanctuary, lights flickering as the ground cracked beneath them. The council erupted in panic. Ryan grabbed the orb. Its light flared, reacting violently. Get everyone to the surface, Leora commanded. We need to see what's coming. Outside, the sky was ablaze with streaks of green and violet, auroras swirling with unnatural energy. From the planet's core, a massive fissure opened, revealing a glowing chamber deep underground. From it rose a colossal figure, part stone, part light. An ancient guardian long forgotten. The guardian's eyes blazed with cosmic fire as it surveyed the world above. Ryan stepped forward, heart pounding. I don't know if it's friend or foe, but it's alive, the guardian spoke, its voice a thunderous echo in the minds of all who heard. I am the warden of Novara. The orb you carry is the key to my prison and my power. Why do you awaken me? Ryan swallowed. We seek peace. We fight to protect our home from those who would destroy it. The warden's gaze softened slightly. Peace is fragile. Power corrupts. I have watched civilizations rise and fall. Leora stepped beside Ryan. We ask for your help. The Harak and the Veil threaten all life here. The warden's eyes flickered. Aid comes with a price. Are you willing to pay it? Ryan looked to the gathered council, then back to the guardian. We have no choice. The warden raised its hand, and energy surged through the orb, linking it to the planet's core. Ryan felt a flood of knowledge, memories of Novara's past, the origin of the orb, and the sacrifices made to contain the power within. This power can heal or destroy, the warden said. Use it wisely, or all will fall. As the guardian withdrew into the fissure, the sanctuary's defenders prepared for a final stand. The Veil, regrouped and furious, launched a devastating assault. Ryan, Leora, Salin, and Kyla fought side by side, their bond forged in fire. Amid the chaos, Ryan realized the orb's true potential. It was not just a weapon, but a beacon of unity, a symbol of hope, bridging species and worlds. Cliffhanger. As dawn broke, the Veil's forces were pushed back, but the sanctuary lay in ruins. And far beyond, in the shadows of space, a dark fleet gathered, a force even greater than the Harak or the Veil. The real war was just beginning. The final light, the sanctuary lay in ruins, smoke curling into the crimson dawn as survivors picked through the shattered stones. Ryan stood at the center of the devastation, the orb's steady glow in his hand, a beacon of fragile hope. Around him, Leora, Salin, and Kayla moved among the wounded, rallying those who remained. The battle with the Veil had cost dearly, but their spirit endured. Far beyond Novara's skies, the dark fleet loomed, a silent menace against the stars. Their intent was clear: domination, conquest, control. The true enemy had not revealed itself until now. Ryan knew the time had come to make the ultimate choice. Gathering the council once more, Ryan addressed them with a calm born of conviction. We have survived betrayals and ancient awakenings. We have faced enemies who would see us undone. But now, a greater shadow rises. Kyla stepped forward, her voice steady. The dark fleet seeks the orb's power to enslave countless worlds. We cannot let that happen. Selin added, We must unite all who oppose them, humans, Novarans, even former foes. The survival of freedom depends on our unity. The orb pulsed brighter, resonating with the planet and the hearts of those who fought for it. Rian raised it high. This power is not a weapon to be wielded in anger, but a light to guide us through darkness. Together we will stand. Across Novara, a signal spread, a call to arms and alliance. Ships from distant systems answered, arriving with hope and strength. Old rivalries gave way to shared purpose. Ryan, Leora, Selin, and Kaela led the united forces, preparing for the inevitable confrontation. The battle was fierce. Stars flared as fleets clashed in the void, the fate of countless worlds hanging in the balance. In the heart of the conflict, Ryan and his companions led a daring strike to the Dark Fleet's flagship, seeking to sever the head of the serpent. Inside, the corridors were cold and silent. Shadows twisted, and echoes of fear haunted their steps. At the core of the ship, they confronted the fleet's commander, a being of shadow and malice, wielding stolen power from corrupted worlds. "You think you can stop us?" the commander hissed. "The galaxy will bow to darkness." Ryan stepped forward, orb glowing with pure light. "This ends now." A blinding wave of energy surged from the orb, overwhelming the darkness. The commander screamed, disintegrating into nothingness. The ship trembled, systems failing as the power of the orb cleansed corruption. Outside, the fleet's forces faltered and withdrew. Returning to Novara, the victors were hailed not as conquerors, but as guardians, a new alliance forged in the crucible of war. Ryan stood beneath the twin moons, orb in hand, surrounded by friends and allies. Leora smiled softly. "We changed the future today." Selin nodded. "Peace is not given, it is earned." Kyla, once an enemy, now a trusted ally, looked out at the stars. And this is only the beginning. Ryan reflected on the journey, from a stranger in a strange world to a beacon of hope. The orb's light was a reminder that even in darkness, unity and courage could ignite a flame. Final lesson. True strength lies not in power alone, but in the bonds we build and the choices we make. The future is shaped not by fear, but by hope, and by those brave enough to stand together against the night. The end